Hey guys, I was talking to a friend of mine who's been working his butt off to acquire, or should we say, increase his CW speed. Boy, I'm not used to how people do it these days, and it's fascinating. He's learning at high speed characters. I think he said 20, well, he did say 25 word per minute characters. And learning the groups and some punctuation, I believe he said. Well, but he made an excellent comment to me and asked if I could make a video of how to call, not how to call CQ, how to make a contact basically using CW when you first learned it. And it made me realize he made several suggestions, and it made me realize I would have never thought of that stuff, not ever, because all of the things he mentioned, it's not that I take them for granted. It's just that they've become second nature. It'd be like me thinking, hey, I better explain to my subs how to tie their shoes, you know? So before you guys make your first CW contact, I have been keeping a list of hints, just general hints for CW, but the yellow highlighter marked ones are the ones that I think are valuable to keep in mind when making your very first CW contact or calling CQ the first time. Oh, Fred suggested, it was Fred, my friend, he suggested talking about rig setup and filters and things like that. And oh yeah, I've learned a lot on this Yaesu about that very thing. And I'm sure ICOM's the same, you know. Their way of doing it might be a little different. Their menu's a little different, but other than that, I mean, the DSP functions they do the same thing. I'm going to pause you and zoom you in. Hang on. Okay, you see the first item on the list up there is abbreviations. I decided to do that first. Hang on. Because, believe it or not, my suggestion is for your very first CW QSO or your first couple, few, whatever, until you start to feel a little more comfortable. This is all you need to know. No punctuation at all. You don't need it, man. See that BT? The da 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 da. That sucked. Da 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 da. That's your best friend, man. When I used to use CW, I was very comfortable sending that 3, 4, 5 times in a row. As you collect your thoughts, anything could happen, and it's expected. It's the norm in CW. Da 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 da. You know, and it's used when you're thinking of something else to say, or okay, to you, thank you. Obvious, nothing more need be said. I'd use it at the end of a QSO, to you, or even after you've signed. Things aren't as formal as they used to be. You signed AC3LZ DE N8NK TU dot dot. And I'll show you that more in part 2 when I demonstrate. I'm going to do this in 3 parts. I'm going to do this in part 1. In part 2, I'm going to do rig setup hints. And in part 3, I'll do some demo QSOs. I'll do your very first demo QSO for you. If I listen, one that if I heard on the bands would sound normal to me, Okay, I'm going to pause you. Oh, okay, on this list. K, obviously, go ahead, use it when DE, Let's see. Mike 0, Juliet Victor Yankee, M0 JBY DE, N8 NK K. I'm saying go ahead. 73 is obvious, and DE is used for the word from. I'm sure you know that. Okay, I'm going to hang on and turn the list back over. We've already talked about BT, hang on. Okay, check this out, man. I'm reaching around my little tripod. I'm using 2 index fingers, and I'll try to send BT with two-handedly on an iambic paddle. Hang on. Oh, I slipped off the paddle. Hang on. Oh, right on. That's your best friend, man. Gives you time. Don't think you'll be scared? Wait. Okay. I'm going to tip you down with me instead of pausing you. Yeah, it's much more exciting, man. Or comical. The other items you don't need to be talked about yet for your first QSO. Too little wattage or too more wattage, yeah. Don't get into a marginal QSO with somebody. Not your first one, man. Not your first few, whatever, till you're comfier. If you call CQ and you hear someone come back to you and he's really hard to copy, don't respond to him. Pass them by. Decline the QSO. God, I can be a jerk. If you're calling CQ for your first QSO on CW, only reply to the other person if you hear a nice, good, strong signal that you'll have no copying. You don't want to have to try to dig out a weak signal when you're battling your nerves and, working on your copying ability. So enough. Oh, I got excited. Sorry. And don't run too much power. If you've got a nice big amp, don't use it, man. Just use your rig's default output power. Set to max. You notice I didn't say use your rig barefoot or turn off the heater or the slippers. I have fun with that, man. See the one hiding at the bottom? Band? Question mark? Wah wah, as Nancy'd say. Well, it says band edges. General advice for the CW op. Oh, here, let's give you this. Let's zoom back out. Is this not glorious video, boys? Yeah. That's eye candy right there, man. Absolute eye candy. Be gone, paper. So, band edges. Stay away from the band edges for a few reasons. You venture down to, I'm going to use 40 meters, for example. You venture down to, let's say you're a general class. You venture down to 7.025. That's fighting line. That's battleground right there. A lot of DX, a lot of monster power nets happening there where the average age is 90. And I say that seemingly jokingly because they're high-speed nets and they're all old people, man, or exceedingly talented younger hams. Speed comes with practice, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about, or a stroke. In my case, stay away from the band edge if you're a general at 025. It's terribly competitive down there and loud and a lot of power output happening there by those fellas. And And 40 meters isn't too probably good of an example, because you can wander up as high as you want until you run into the digital operators, and then you can pass those by and keep going. And there's a lot of CW between 7 dot 100 and 7.125, but your upper limit, regardless of class, is 7.0 7.125, right? I believe. And stay, I don't know if you know it, but your signal doesn't magically end at 7.124. Obviously, or you wouldn't be able to hear any pitch beyond 1 kilohertz. Stay a couple few kilohertz away from the band edges, man, and try to hang out. Try to do. There goes the furnace. Try to do your initial contacts up in the 7.1 to 7. Whatever 115 range, or down around. I highly recommend a QRP watering hole at 7.060, because there's a lot of slower CW operation happening there. A lot of newer hams go there. A lot of QRPers hang out there. And should you work a QRPer? Sure, if you can copy him super easy, if he's nice and loud. And yeah, so that's my hints and suggestions for your very first QSO, whether you're going to call CQ or answer one. Okay, and these are just my opinion. These things I've said, they're my opinion, but they come after a life of operating CW. I hope something I've said was of value to you. Part 2, which I'll try to do tomorrow, will be on rig setup. And again, part 3 will be a demo QSO on the air at a slower speed. Okay, I hope you're all well, and 73 guys.